Hi, this is Michael Rony Mullick, and you are watching the post market show. Today is the 7th of June, and let's see what happened in the markets today. So, again, the markets opened with a major gap down because the global cues were bad. Asian markets were trading negative. US markets ended strongly in the negative yesterday. That is why the markets over here in India opened with a major gap down, and Nifty, it broke the all important support of 16,400. It did not just break that, it went way below that, making a low of around 16,350, and from there it recovered towards the end, just ending slightly above 16,400 is what we saw. So it is good to see that the market and market closing just above the resistance, the support level on the downside is something good. And talking about Bank Nifty was also opened with a gap down. It was stronger slightly towards the first half in the morning, but then it also got sold into, and it ended slightly below 35,000, which is again a major level. Now markets are waiting for the major news tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. the RBI interest rate policy meeting. So what is the interest rate that they come up with is everyone is keenly waiting to see what happens in the markets. So we're going to discuss the figures, the expectations and everything in this show. So let's start with the Nifty analysis for the day. So talking about Nifty, we can see that the Nifty chart. Let me open up the chart. Yes, and Nifty, this is the 5-minute chart in Nifty. You can see the markets open with a huge gap down of almost 100 points. Then it made a huge red candle, and by 10 o'clock it had broken the 16,400 levels. But then it quickly shot up. It took a resistance near 16,440. Then it again came down. Now this time it came and close to 16,347, and then again it recovered and ended slightly above 16,000. So it ended at 16,404 today. Now this kind of gap down was expected because I've told you one was the European markets were negative, and also if you can see over here, when the markets were moving up after the 27th May, we saw on 30th May when it opened on Monday, the markets opened with a huge gap up of almost, so it ended around 16,350. It opened at 16,500. So that is almost a 150 point gap up, and the markets had to come down to fill the gap. This is what is we see in technical analysis, that whenever the market has a gap created, the markets soon come down to fill the gap. So we can see the markets 1 2 3 4 5 6 on a 7th day the market came down and filled the gap. So now the markets are in an interesting position. It is slightly above its important support levels, and let us see what happens in the markets going forward. Tomorrow is going to be a make or break day for Nifty and as well as Bank Nifty. So talking about Bank Nifty, the markets, I told you, it opened with a huge gap down. Then by 10:30 it almost broke out from the day's high, and then the severe selling came and the markets went way below 34,000. Again it tried to recover around 35,000. It took resistance and again came back, made a low of 34,834, which is very close to 34,800, which is again a major support in the Bank Nifty. So the markets towards the end tried to recover, but it could not cross 35,000. It ended slightly below that, 4 points below to be exact. 34,996 or 0.89% down is Bank Nifty. So this was Nifty and Bank Nifty today, and obviously the markets are waiting for the policy decision tomorrow by the RBI governor. So this is Bank Nifty. Talking about other things in the markets, Nifty mid cap, small cap, both of them ended in the red along with the other indices. So again, sectoral indices, most of them ended way well in the red today, but two of the indices have performed well today. One of them is Nifty Auto. The Nifty Auto, I told you, it is in a very strong uptrend, and today you can see that it is again up. The overall global markets are down. The major heavyweight stocks in the indices are down, but these stocks in the auto sector are still doing well. It is ended 0.5% in the positive, and Nifty Energy again ended 1% in the positive because the crude oil prices were on an uptrend. So this is where the Nifty Energy is trading almost 1% up. But the major draggers were Nifty IT was down today 1.6% because Nasdaq had fallen in the US. So that is why the bearishness in the IT stocks. FMCG is down again 1.5%. So Britannia, Hindustan Unilever, Marico, all of them are down. And other things, Nifty Media is down, Nifty Reality is down, both of them down by 1.6%. Even Nifty Financial Services is down today by 1%. So overall, the markets are, I mean, the major sectors are looking very, very bearish right now. But again, tomorrow, things can have a very different picture tomorrow. So this is where the major indices were. Talking about some of the stocks, M&M, we saw it ended at an all-time high. Then we saw some profit booking, but then again we can see some positiveness coming back into Mahindra and Mahindra. It is up by 0.64%. So it has led to the up move in the stocks. Bajaj Auto is also up today by 0.4%. And the major draggers today were the FMCG sector. I told you, Hindustan Unilever down by 3%, and Britannia down by 3.11%, Marico down by 2.7%. The crude oil prices were rising. We saw it close to $120 it was per barrel. So that is why the oil producing stocks have very good day. ONGC up by 5.1%. Today it is the top gainer in Nifty 50. Oil India, yesterday we saw it shoot up almost 12%. Again today it shot up almost 2.65%. And Reliance also having a very good day, and it ended slightly in the positive. It is already very close to its all-time high. So seeing that the stock is not falling from there is obviously a good thing. And talking about other indices, we saw that the IT sector was down. So that is why most of the IT stocks are down today. Even Titan is down by 4.5% today, and banking stocks were also down. Talking about index movers, you see ONGC contributing the highest to Nifty. ONGC, Reliance, NTPC, Maruti, M&M, Tata Motors. So auto stocks and energy related stocks are all the top gainers list today, and the major draggers were both IT index as well as the banking stocks and non-banking financial companies. So these we know that they form almost 50 to 60% of the weightage in Nifty 50. So whenever the IT stocks and the banking stocks fail, the markets tend to be very, very bearish, and that is exactly what happened today as well. Now talking about the India VIX, the India VIX is trading at currently it is 1.1% up. It is at 20.42. FII DII activities, FII continue to sell for 2,400 crores and DIIs have bought for 1,300 crores. This is the FII DII buying and selling activity. Talking about open interest, the Bank Nifty today, we do not see any major movement in Bank Nifty. The people have not created any major positions because all of them are waiting for the RBI's policy decision tomorrow. So maximum we see is 35,000 straddle, which means people are selling both call options and put options at 35,000, expecting the market to move in a small range. So that is what people are doing in Bank Nifty. The PCR is at 0.59, which indicates bearishness. But coming to Nifty, we see there is more bearishness because PCR is at 0.55, and today we saw aggressive call writing right from 16,400, 16,500 and above, and we saw a good amount of put unwinding of almost 21 lakh contract in 16,300. So we were seeing that for the last few days 16,300 was a place where maximum OI was built up, but today people have out of fear that the market, since it came close to 16,340 40 levels, that is why people try to cover their positions and move further away or sell call options to manage their positions. That is why we see a huge amount of put unwinding at 16,300, and on the call side we see massive amounts of call being written, which indicates the markets cannot move up. Just in case if there is some good news and the markets shoot up tomorrow, because of these people who have written calls, they have to cover their positions, and that can create the markets to propel the markets even higher. So this is something you can keep in mind. Coming to the US markets, the VIX is down by 2.8%. US markets are today trading in the green, so that is good to see. US markets, if you can see the daily chart, US markets, you can see from 27th of May, the markets are in a consolidation mode, and it is still continuing today, being the 7th day, and the markets have not gone anywhere. So that is the kind of markets US there is. But we are seeing huge amounts of volatility, both upside downside, markets making huge moves in this consolidating area, just like Nifty and Bank Nifty. Both of them are consolidating in a small range, but with huge volatility. Dow Jones, same. The Dow Jones is also up by 0.28%. Now if you look at the 5-minute chart of the indices, we will see that the markets opened with a gap down today, but then it tried to recover, and it has recovered almost all its losses, and it is trading in the green today, but still slightly in the green. But let's see where the markets end, because that is more important, because we will be opening and following the global views, especially Asian markets will follow them, the other markets will follow the US markets. So that is important to see where the markets close. The US markets, the European markets today did not do well. The German index was down 0.6%, the French index was down 0.7%, and the UK futures were also down, but now it is recovering since the US markets are recovering. So UK futures is also recovering slightly. It is almost flat as of now. Coming to some commodities, crude oil prices, we saw it was close to $120. Now it is again slightly down at $118.14. And we were talking about this range, so the market has broken out on the upside of the range. Let's see where it takes resistance on the top. So this is crude oil, dollar index is at 102, and USD INR is at 77.622. So which means that the USD INR has slightly strengthened, but just by 20%, nothing much to see over there. So taking all things into consideration, SGX Nifty is now showing 16,455 as tomorrow's opening. So the markets are 30 points up is what we can see. But again, the US markets, let's see where it ends, and then we will have a clear indication tomorrow. And also tomorrow, the RBI policy meeting at 10 a.m. is going to be the main important focus of the markets. Now coming to tomorrow's meeting, we see 10 a.m. in the morning Indian, this is the RBI interest rate decision. The repo rate was 4.4%, and this time the expectation is 4.8%, which means an increase of 40 basis points or 0.4%. That is the expectation of the people in the markets. And if the RBI governor, Mr. Shaktikanta Das, if he makes it more, if it is instead of 40 basis points, it is 50 basis point or 0.5%, that can create again a panic in the markets. So as far as it is 40 basis point, we don't think there will be much volatility. But if it is above or below that, then we can see some kind of big movements coming in the market. And also, not just that, we have the cash reserve ratio, the CRR announcement is also to be done tomorrow. So the 4.5% was the last time, and this time the expectation is also 4.5%. Now if the RBI decides to change this CRR as well, again that can create a panic in the market, or it can create a lot of volatility in the market. So these figures, the expectations I told you, so keep an eye out for these, because by 10 o'clock we will be seeing that the announcement would have started. So keep an eye out in the numbers and figures. By 11 o'clock tomorrow morning, everything will be over. So the numbers are obviously important to keep a track of, but not just numbers, also closely try to monitor what the RBI governor says in his speech. So what is his outlook of the Indian economy? Will the inflation be under control or not? And when can we expect slight strengthening in the markets? So all of those things will be in his commentary. So do watch out for that as well, because that is going to be important. Because in US market, we saw that the US Federal Reserves, they have said that if this kind of inflation continues, at one point of time, the Federal Reserves, that is the US Central Bank, will not be able to control the level of inflation in the US. So these kind of comments obviously makes the market more jittery. So do watch out for the comments along with the figures as well, is what I would recommend you. So tomorrow, if you're trading, we will see that after 11 o'clock, the decision is made. We will see a huge IV crush, which means the implied volatility will come down, because we see ahead of these major events, the markets try to gauge. Some people are long, some people are short, and based on their expectation of the market. So that is why the volatility is huge, and whenever the news actually comes, the volatility crashes. And this is a very good opportunity for people who are selling options to make a good money out of these IV crashes. So a lot of things will be playing out in the market. If you're a conservative trader, please do not try to take any positions in between that, especially from morning to 11 a.m. So after 11 a.m., once everything is out there, it is okay to build your positions. So I would not recommend you to build any position before that, unless and until you have a good experience. So this is what I have to say, and tomorrow let us see where the US markets end and how the Asian markets open, because gap up, gap down in the markets tomorrow will again have a major impact, and also the announcement is going to be there. So with that, I will end it here. See you at 8:30 a.m. tomorrow morning for the pre-market show, where we discuss important levels and how the Asian markets are trading. So all those will be discussed tomorrow morning. For now, this is me signing off. Have a good night.